All right, we are live at the daily sales briefing, Selling in a Crisis. Our focus today is the basics and the fundamentals. A quick story. My son, who played Little League baseball, and I know Little League is not going right now, and a lot of parents and kids are sad, but we'll just relive the glory days, was on a team that you could describe as the Bad News Bears. I mean, they just were not very good, not the most talented team. And a lot of the other teams in the league were much more talented. They had better baseball players. And we had this coach who his whole focus was on the fundamentals. Like one of his core rules was you always ran everywhere. You always had to run, because he figured if he could get his team just focusing on hustle, that they could out hustle other players. And he focused on just the fundamentals. In fact, he said this over and over and over again. All we're going to do is focus on hitting the ball, on catching the ball, on throwing the ball, and on running bases. Just those basic fundamentals. And he drilled those fundamentals over and over and over again. And even though his circumstances, the group of players that he landed with were not that great, he didn't get the best team in the world, by having the team focus on the fundamentals repeatedly every day, they were able to rise up and become a team that could beat all of the best teams in the league, go to the playoffs and win. And this is my message to you today. I just want you to think about one thing. What do the most successful people in the world all have in common? What they all have in common is that they have an adherence to and a focus on the fundamentals. If you're a doctor or a musician or a salesperson or a fireman or a nurse, anywhere in the world, or a teacher, any of those professions, the one thing that all of the successful people do is they focus on the fundamentals and the basics every day. Those essential building blocks matter, no matter what the circumstance. And one of the things that happens to people when circumstances change around them, when the environment changes around them like it is right now, is that we have a tendency to change what we normally do. We move away from the basics and fundamentals because in some cases, the basics and fundamentals are boring. But let me say this to you, boring works. In sales right now, we cannot control what's happening around us. It is crazy. It's a mess. And as I give this address, I'm not even sure where we're going to be tomorrow. But the one thing that we can control is a focus on the fundamentals. And in sales, those fundamentals are qualifying their opportunities. They are prospecting to get more opportunities into the pipeline. They're listening. They're asking questions. They're holding initial meetings. They're asking for the next step, getting micro commitments, advancing your deals to closed, and then providing great service. Those are the fundamentals. Now, maybe in some cases, your marketplace is slowed down. If you're in New York and New Jersey, you probably don't have anything in the world to do right now. But if you can focus every single day on the fundamentals, if you just do that every single day, you're going to win. And I'm telling you that because this is what matters. You have to control what you can control. We are where we are. There's nothing we can do about that. But everything in you have the power, right, to focus right now on those core fundamentals. That is this daily sales briefing, and we're going to take some questions. What you got?
Your phone. Shut up.
Give me.
Jackie Miles wants to know, when are you releasing the virtual selling book?
The virtual selling book, Jackie, thank you for asking that question. The virtual selling book will be out in a little while. It'll be out in mid-May. So we're expecting somewhere around May the 15th. It may be a little bit fast, or a little bit slow. In fact, as you asked that question, we will have the book up online for pre-order. We're going to go out in digital format first to make it easy for you to upload, because obviously in this particular environment, getting a book printed is going to be really hard. So we're going to go up on digital first, and then we'll go out in hard copy, and then we'll do the ebook or the audio book as soon as we can stop social distancing and we can get around other people. But we will get all of that done sometime in mid-May, so it will be out before June 1st. I can promise you that. Real quickly, before we take the next question, I want to give a shout out to my friend Bridget Bolin from my good friends at Penske. And Bridget, I think, had a good idea. She said that we're calling it the daily sales briefing, that we should, instead of saying like selling in the crisis, we should change sales altogether to caring. So instead of how to sell during a crisis, we should say how to care instead during the crisis, or how to care for other people. And by the way, that is a fundamental basic of selling. It's empathy, it's listening, it's caring, it's paying attention to other people. And we're finding that when we show empathy to the people that we're selling to versus focusing on our own self-centered needs, that people are moving towards us and they're willing to talk to us. And Bridget, thank you so much for that great comment and that text this morning.
Pamela Cutler says she does supplemental insurance and life for small businesses. She wants to know a basic way to prospect without sounding like she's ambulance chasing.
Okay, so what does she do?
Supplemental insurance and life for small
Okay,
businesses.
good. Supplemental insurance and life for small businesses. So right now, that's an important thing. So especially for a lot of employees who are worried. So what I would do is I would call up and I would find the person who makes the decision, and especially if it's a small business, the business owner, and say, and just ask the question, say, how are you doing with your employees right now? What are the things that are challenging you? What's worrying you about your employees? And just listen. There will be some opportunities. If you're a small business and you had to lay off all your employees, supplemental insurance won't make a lot of sense to them. So if you call up and say, I work with employers to help them provide, better benefits to their employees, and this is a special time when people are worried about what's going to happen if they get hurt or something happens to them, I can help you with that to give your employees some peace of mind. Could you help me understand your current situation? You're going to get a lot of business owners that are going to be willing to talk to you. Some business owners are going to be completely, hair on fire. They're going to be unwilling to talk. Some of them won't have any employees at the moment, but that's exactly how I would approach it. I mean, I think if you approach it and you approach it with I'm going to shove this down your throat, Pam, you're going to have a really hard time. So just make the call. People do need what you're selling. It is an important, it's important for their employees, important for their businesses, but just take a more nuanced approach to having a conversation with them. Got another one? All right, that is all the questions for the day. Thank you for joining us for the Daily Sales Briefing, Selling in a Crisis. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow is Friday Friend, and I'll have a special friend with me on the Daily Sales Briefing. Thank you.